Good afternoon. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa. And today we have brought a great guest for you. And I'm going to actually allow him to introduce himself. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me. I'm Nahusana Yalo. I'm the CEO of Pristine Marketing Group and the event manager of Africa Celebrates. So in short, this is me.
That's you. Okay. So what actually brings us here today is because of Africa Celebrates 2022. I'm just going to ask you to briefly explain what Africa Celebrates is, why you started it, how it's going, when you started it, and why.
It's very hard to explain it in a brief 2 minutes or 1 minute explanation, but in short, Africa Celebrates, it was initially called African Fashion Reception. So it was initially started in 2014 together with the African Union. So it was a fashion event till 2021. But 2021, as you know, Africa Union declared 2021 as the year of art, culture, and heritage. So we wanted to highlight those components in this event, and we evolved it to Africa Celebrates. So we included art, culture, heritage, and the business aspect to the fashion component that it has already had. Since 2021, this is the second year we're hosting it. It's Africa Celebrates, celebrating Africa. It's a Pan-African event which gives opportunity to all the African countries to show their, representation. Their,
could be arts, it could be anything. Brilliant. So why did you think we needed this event?
A very good question. Africa, as you know, we have all the resources. We have all the culture. We all have a beautiful thing to show to the world. But it has not been the case for the past many years. Africa has been known for the negative things that has existed in the continent. But we have the very beautiful aspects that we need to promote to the world. So we believe we Africans together can promote and can give the world a very beautiful component. So for that basic aim, we believe creating this kind of platforms will help Africa to promote to the world. And plus, we Africans don't know the other part of Africa. So, for example, if I ask anybody, where have you been in Africa? They will tell you they have been to Dubai, all those other places, but never to other countries in Africa. We, as Africans, need to know the resource, the capacity, what Africa has to present to us. So this kind of platforms helps us to know more about our continent, know more about our sister brothers in very near countries.
So this event is going to be a 5-day event?
Yeah, so now we're doing it in a 3-day setup. You're right, it was last year, it was an 8-day event. So we gave the 5 regions 1 day.
1 day.
Then we had 3-day exhibition, then the final gala event and the 2 business summits between the exhibition sessions. So this year what we're doing is we're bringing all the continents together because we didn't want to separate the regions. We want to we want to bring Africa. We're going to give them pavilions, but it's going to be one big African day with all the regions. Plus there will be 3-day exhibition, then the final gala event. So we changed the format on that sense. I think that will also add a value to the event. If you ask me in one sense, it will add a value so that each region also gets to see the other region.
True, when you do it on 1 day, I might not get the day to come on that. That's very true. That's very true. That's actually a good thing. So with them being set up all in one, so that means the food is there, the art is there, And the fashion is there.
Exactly. We have the chefs coming from all the countries. We have fashion designers showcasing their designs. We have dance groups coming from each region to showcase their dance. We also have a section for their Ministry of Culture and Tourism to promote their touristic sites, to promote their cultural assets. So those all will be showcased in that one day.
I want to get into the music aspect of your event.
Okay.
Because I remember last year or the year before, you actually had one entertainer, meaning as a concert, a musician from Nigeria, I believe.
Yeah.
But then you did have a lot of entertainment from our region, from Ethiopia. So I want to know what you plan on doing coming up for this year's event.
I want to explain it how this event happens. So what we do is we as an event organizer, we want to create the platform.
Right.
So together with the African Union, we send letter, it's called a note verbal, which means a state letter. So that would be sent from the African Union to all the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of each country. So it's based on the country's willingness. It's the country's, how they see the project that makes the representation very good or not good. So each country was given the platform. So we're getting final delegation list. Some countries better than last year are going to be represented this year. For example, if you want me to mention countries, for example, we have very strong delegation coming from Cameroon. We'll have a delegation coming from Zimbabwe, from Morocco. So as much as possible, we try to have at least few countries from each region so that Africa is represented. So we'll have a big performer from Zimbabwe. So actually the Zimbabwean delegation is going to be led by the First Lady. Then the Ministry of Culture of Cameroon also will have a delegation. So they already gave us the list of people that they are coming with. So it includes artists. So this year we'll have a better representation, and as you said, we'll have also a represent because Legendary Gold is from Nigeria,
exactly.
Our international partner.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah. So we'll have representation from Nigeria as well, Congo. Those countries will be represented with artists, dance group, and also the Ministry of Culture will come also as well.
I know you're having it. I think that the whole event is at AU.
Yes, this year, initially all the event components were held at the African Union. Okay. Because of COVID, last year we were told not to host it at the African Union. So we took it out and we did it in different areas of the city. But this year they want it back. So it's going to be one of the big events that AU will be hosting after the COVID. Even their own events were not happening for the last years.
How is it going to be because I know how hard it is to get into AU.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm trying to find out how open is it to the public?
Yeah, that was
who's going to be able to come?
Okay, that was a very, stressful area for us because we want, we're saying Africa celebrates, so we want everybody to celebrate, exactly. To come and celebrate. So what we did now is we have a registration form and a link that we have already prepared so that the African Union gets your name.
Okay.
So anybody, I'll give you the link, you'll show it on your screen so that anybody who wants to register can register on those links. So they can go to those links, register their name, they can select which events they are interested because as I told you, this event has the business component, the art, the culture, all those components. So anyone interested on the specific events can get registered. Then it will automatically go to the African Union security database. So anyone
they can automatically
go ahead. Plus, there will be invitation as well.
Now that you've taken it to AU, it's a little bit tough because I know how AU is.
I know.
And having all, how many people can they host? Where is the event? Is it in the, I'm not sure which space they have, how many people can they accommodate? And not only are we talking about the audience for you, we're also talking about the people, the delegates that are coming from abroad. There might be other people that are also coming just because of this event. Mm-hmm. So logistically, it sounds mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming AU is also helping you, and your company is also well prepared for that.
There's an advantage that comes with hosting it at the African Union. But as you said, there will be some logistical issues, but we're getting prepared for that. For example, as I mentioned, anybody can get registered to enter to that compound. Plus, the spaces are not, the African Union has enough space for this kind of events.
Okay.
The issue for years was it was not accessible for anyone to have their events in that compound. For example, they have a big hall. If you know it, it's called the multi-purpose Nelson Mandela Hall. So they have that space which can host 600, 700 people, comfortably. So that's for the gala event. The gala event, you remember last year was for 1,000 people. So we'll have that enough space for that amount of audience. Plus the exhibitions, they have
it's going to be outside, obviously, right?
Yes,
so have pavilions.
Pavilions. If you know the Nelson Mandela Hall, before you enter to the Nelson Mandela, there is a specific exhibition area that we're going to be using. That's for the exhibition. Then they have also the conference halls. So I want to explain also the business aspect of this show. Later I'm sure it's going to be one of your questions.
So I'm more on the art side first.
I know. I know. So the business summits also they will be hosted in the big conference halls. Okay.
So there's ample of space.
Ample of space.
Now, the most important question is, are they going to allow you to use that beautiful amphitheater they've never used?
I know. The idea is
I hope that's where you're going to have all the concerts.
The African night is planned to be there. But unfortunately, I don't know why, but they have not, they don't want anything to happen on that space because I don't know. But the issue is now we're trying to finalize for that venue to be available for that specific African day, which will be perfect because you have the stage downstairs, you have the view for everybody.
It's beautiful.
It's perfect for that kind of event, but we'll see. We'll know.
I'll be praying for you.
Thank you.
I'll be praying for you. Because apparently they don't use that space. I've always wondered why. I've even actually tried to have an event in that space.
Yeah,
it's an amazing space. There was one event that I actually did go there.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying it was so amazing that you have to somehow be able to use that space.
I know. We're trying for that. I hope we'll succeed on that.
So you mentioned Legendary Gold, who's your partner. So tell us about Legendary Gold and how you got to meet.
Yeah, Legendary Gold, Mr. Lexi. So he is a Pan-African guy who loves Africa, who loves, they call him the father of, the fashion ambassador. He's from Nigeria, but he has done African events all over the world. So Legendary Gold has been doing events in Paris, New York, all over the world. And so when he brought this idea, the African fashion reception to Ethiopia, African Union declared it as one of their events. So we had also, as you know, whatever we do, the concerts, the events, we also want to promote Africa as PMG, Pristine Marketing Group. So we want events that promote Africa. You remember the events we did in the past years. And those kind of events highlight Africa. So we had this common goal. So we met with Lexi 6 years ago, and I mean, we clicked. So we want to bring this event to a bigger scale. So we had the common understanding. So we took it all the way up, and Africa Celebrates is now where it is because of Legendary Gold and Pristine Marketing Group collaboration. And Africa Union has been the partner for all the events, and also UNESCO is there as well, because this event normally happens once in Addis Ababa, because AU wants to be hosted in the host country, Ethiopia, the capital of Africa. Then also it goes to Paris, UNESCO, with all the designers, with all the components it has, to UNESCO compound in Paris.
Oh,
so,
in Paris.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
So
basically,
it happens twice a year?
so that's the idea, yeah.
Okay.
Twice a year, but last year because of COVID,
Yeah.
it was only done in Addis Ababa. But normally it's one in Africa, one in Paris.
So now, fashion is a big part of this Africa Celebrates.
Yeah.
Now, this year, are you also still doing the runway shows and everything that's intertwined with the fashion industry?
Yes.
Yes, you are. So if that's the case, how do you pick your designers?
We only allow one designer from one country.
Okay.
So last year we
Which
had...
makes it that much more harder, by the way.
I know,
how do you
because
pick that
everybody
one?
wants to be part
Exactly.
of this show.
That's very hard.
I know. So basically what we do is we make it open for all the countries to have
Register.
their designers to register. So upon registration, they will send us their concept note. They will send us what is their theme, what is their concept behind the design that they want to showcase. So based on that, we will see how it relates to our theme of the year.
Which is?
For example, this year is highlighting art, culture, and heritage because of the year of, because AU declared it last year.
Of culture, yeah.
So those components we will see from their concept notes, and we will select based on that. But some countries, for example, I was telling you, those countries that are bringing big delegations, they will select their designer based on the criteria we give them, and they will bring their own designers. For example, this year we will have 40 designers from all over the continent, which means 40 countries will be represented.
40 countries are going to be represented.
Yeah, that will be done on October 21st, which is the Gala Fashion event. So we'll have 40 designers showcasing their creations.
Okay, so the gala dinner will have a fashion show too.
Yes, that's basically the
designers.
components. Yes, the main I know, but we're limiting
how many pieces of
they will present. Yeah. But I mean, it will not be boring because there will be
definitely will not be boring. It's just it's going to be packed with so much content.
Yeah, and
that's going to be great.
Music together. I mean, you remember last year we had 3 big performers in between the fashion show.
It really is awesome, and you know, me being a Pan-African, you know, and I've been on the radio for 16 years promoting Africa, and it's now that I am seeing movements about Africa, whether it's musically, whether it's fashion. Even though Hub of Africa does do Africa Fashion Week every year, I feel like it should involve music, because the arts, period. And what you guys actually did, I like, because it's everything. It encompasses everything. One should not be left out. Because it's the arts, it's the culture.
That's very true.
Art, culture, heritage, and business. You plan on covering each sector. So going towards the business side of it. Now, what are you covering? on the business aspect. You did mention that it was not going to be on the fashion industry. So can you describe what about fashion?
So there are two big business, forums happening. Components of Africa Celebrates. So one is the Africa Talks Business and Investment Forum. So this is the generic business forum that promotes majorly Africans to invest in Africa.
Okay.
So we'll have panel discussion, plus we'll have invited guest speakers from all over the continent. Giving that, a high attention of Africans should invest in Africa, and we should also promote made in Africa products to be used in the continent, not only in exporting it to the Europe or to the US, but to each other. So those are the major things that will be promoted on the Africa Talks Business and Investment Forum.
I'm going to stop you over there to ask you, are you also going to be covering the fair trade?
Yes,
because that's going to really be helpful for a lot of these people that are in that industry.
Where Africa Union comes in. So Africa Union, as one of their major, strategic plan, they will have their presentation on this business summit to showcase what is there for Africans to invest in African continent. So that will give a very clear idea of how it is possible and how it is very important for all of us to see other African countries as a potential investing country. So that's one of the business aspect. Plus there is African Fashion Business Forum. So this specifically focuses on the fashion. As you know, fashion is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and Africans has not used that. I don't think that we have 1% share of that industry. So there will be speakers, panelists coming from New York, Paris, who has a big expertise in the fashion industry. So they will give our designers, the 40 designers that will be representing each country, a seminar and a way to grow their business and get a percentage on that multi-billion-dollar industry. So those are the business components. In addition to that, we will bring, we recommend all the delegations not only to come with their art and those cultural representations, but their Ministry of Tourism, their Ministry of Trade to be represented, so that they can also have a bilateral and different meetings to get the business aspect. So those are the components that we are working on. And last year, if you remember, we had Mr. Daluji from Nigeria, a billionaire. So we took him to Jimma. He wanted, for example, to invest in agriculture, in coffee. So it's not only just panel. We want to bring it to the ground and make some sign deals. And we had a very successful area on that regard, because we had 2-3 investors who came for Africa Celebrates and who are already doing so much in Ethiopia. So that's the business aspect.
So tourism is also something else you also want to touch by, because granted there are so many Africans that are coming through Ethiopia, so there should be some form or way where they actually outside of it get to see something outside of Addis Ababa.
Yeah.
Even though Addis Ababa has grown right now, we even have our museum, our science museum that is open, which we should be very proud of.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, do you end up taking them out?
Of course, yeah. We're working with Ministry of Tourism. We're working with them to organize a city tour, and also, around Addis, close by site areas visit. So those will be one of the schedules that every delegation will go through.
So with all these events coming lined up, what is your aim and objective?
The aim and objective of this event majorly to celebrate our unity and diversity. That's the very basic thing we see as an objective. Then we also have the Made in Africa, to promote the Made in Africa concept. So we must use Made in Africa things in Africa. So that's a very major thing that we also see. Plus, we want to promote intra and inter-African tourism and business. So, as I said, Africans must invest in Africa. Africans must visit Africa. Yeah, because whenever we plan our holidays, we go to Dubai. We go to.
Let me give you a very good example. One of the reasons, and I don't think this is just me, because I'm one person that wants to just tour around Africa, right? But each time that I ask how much it costs to go somewhere, a very good example was Pine Awards just happened, and I wanted to go to Nigeria to cover that. It was almost 60,000, just the ticket. So on top of that, you have to have hotel, you have to have food. So much added on that expense. So little 100,000, and that we're talking about Ethiopian birr.
Yeah.
Now, when you go over there, it's going to turn into dollars.
Yeah.
So how, as an Ethiopian, can we afford to travel within Africa with the tickets being so expensive? How are we going to be able to, I mean, the way I see it, the airlines should actually like hook us. You know what I mean? There should be like advertisements all over saying, okay, Seychelles, this much, Morocco, this much. You know, all these countries should have their own little thing, and they should try and hook the Ethiopians, because the price is so cheap, they can go visit all these different African countries.
That's true. But that's one thing we want to tackle as well.
Yes,
because
thank you.
We involving the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of each country.
Yeah.
We have Ethiopian Airlines. We say it's the pride of Africa, right? So Ethiopian Airlines connects Africa. So, I mean, they should be concerned to have those kind of plans, those kind of packages to promote to Africa, because for example, they might give you a holiday package to Namibia, to as you said, Morocco. I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to pay, I mean, twice the price you pay to Europe to go to.
That's the thing. Thank you. I'm glad you said it.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing we want to, I mean, promote. Yeah. And I mean, it's not easy. For example, we have already a confirmed delegation of, I mean, 260 so far, 260 participants from all over the continent. And we're not giving them even a significant discount.
And they're coming 10, 20, 30 people and one. It's not one person we're talking about. We're talking about, like you said, a delegate.
That's true. So we have to push all the stakeholders to take part. Yeah. And we're trying, and we'll keep trying as well. I mean, we need Ethiopian Airlines, we need all the Ministry of Tourism of each country. But this kind of events will create the platform so that big changes can come.
Yeah. Conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
the same goes, because now we've touched Ethiopian Airlines. Now your other issue is going to be cargo. You have all these delegates. Some of them are bringing merchandise. Some of them are bringing instruments. How are you going to deal with that?
So, I mean, it's a very good point that you raised, because I want to also give our thank you to Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Brilliant.
So our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have, set a committee for this. So what they're doing is each delegation is sending us their item list, their equipment list that they'll be bringing, plus their VIP list. So this will be given to the immigration And it will, I mean, we're trying to make everything smooth
At
with
least
Ministry.
you've started.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying because we heard, I mean, there was an East African day which was organized by the Ministry of Culture and Sport of Ethiopia. And so many people were having a hard time getting into Ethiopia with their small things they brought from their countries to showcase their culture. So we learned from that, and we are working together with Ministry of Foreign Affairs on that regard. I hope it will be smooth, and we're working hard for it. Yeah.
The same applies for visa.
Visa also, yeah. I mean, for example, last week we had a pre-advance team coming from Nigeria, and we just heard when they arrived in Addis that Nigeria on arrival visa was cancelled.
Oh.
So Ethiopia cancelled that. So so they had to wait 24 hours at the airport, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, African Union had to send letter to immigration for them to go. I mean, get into to Addis. So it was a good experience because
and they cancelled it that day.
Yeah, I mean 24. They
Why?
said. I mean, Lexi was here a week before, and he got on arrival. So I mean, we're trying with Ministry of Foreign Affairs so that we have a delegation list to them, so that they can get on arrival if the e-visa is not working. Because as you know, we have the e-visa that you can apply before you come, but if that cannot work, we're trying to have the delegation list for them to get the visa on arrival.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That would really be ideal, because you do not want your guests to stay in the airport for 24 hours.
I know.
That's just a no-no.
It will be. I mean, we want to create a positive image for Africa, and we're doing the reverse.
I'm glad we had those conversations.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to airlines, the logistic around you getting into a foreign country, getting your visa, getting your luggage, that whole thing, unless it's smooth for somebody that's never been to this country, it's not a good way to enter.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because you're coming to celebrate.
That's true. That's true. That's
and you don't want to be like held.
Yeah.
We now need to know what to expect from what date to what date, what the schedule is, on what day what happens, and so on and so forth.
All right, so the event is going to be from 19th of October till the 21st of October. So on the 17th, there will be delegations coming. So on the 18th, we're planning to have a tour site. So they will have a visit of the museums that you mentioned, the parks, and also some nearby, for example, in Toto Park, those areas that they can visit. We're working with Ministry of Tourism on that regard. So everyone who comes need to see the change and the big, museums, parks that has been built in the past few years. So we want to show that as well. Then on the 19th, it will be the official opening of the Africa Celebrates. So there will be the exhibition from the 19th till the 21st. So 3-day exhibition. So exhibitors are getting registered. If anyone is involved, I will also give you the number so that they can register on. So they can register and showcase an item, for example, designers, different handicraft creators, arts, different creators can exhibit. So the exhibition will start on the 19th and it will go till the 21st.
Okay. What do you need to actually register? What is it that they need to know? Like, is there a payment?
We're giving them 9 square meter space with like a booth, an exhibition booth. So for that, for the 3 days, we'll be charging them 15,000 birr. So that's the exhibition fee. They will be exhibiting in the African Union, as we discussed on the in the Nelson Mandela Hall. Then we have on the 19th, we have the African Talks Business and Investment Forum, which will start after the Africa Celebrates opening ceremony, and it will go for the entire day on the 19th. Then on the 20th, there will be the African Fashion Business Summit. The exhibition will be going on. Then on the 20th, we have added, okay.
Who can come to these forums and summits?
Okay, so the business forums, as I mentioned earlier, there will be registrations for each event components. So anyone interested for different aspect or different component of the event, they need to register for each event. But in addition to that, for example, the African Talks Business and Investment Forum, the co-host will be Ethiopian Investment Commission. So they will be inviting business people, they will be inviting stakeholders to participate. In addition to that, if anyone interested for this summit can register and can attend.
Is it for free?
Yes,
So
that's for free.
Okay.
So the business summits are for free. Then one component we added on this Africa Celebrates 2022 is the art exhibition. So we have an art exhibition this year on the 20th, which will showcase art from all over the continent. So we have few countries who has already confirmed who will come with their artists and pieces, and they will have an art exhibition. And Ethiopia also will be represented on that, and we'll have a VIP showing for ambassadors, for invited guests, so that they see that aspect. Because we're saying Africa Celebrates, and we cannot miss that.
It's a big, it's a huge part of it.
It's a huge part. So that's a new addition to Africa Celebrates.
How many artists can participate from Ethiopia or from each country? Does it just mean one, or could you have 2 or 3?
So this year, for example, from Ethiopia, we have 7. Yeah, we have 7 because this year we're starting it. It might not represent Africa, but we want to start it. So yeah, we have Cameroon, a big artist from Cameroon. We have from Zimbabwe. We have from Morocco. So there will be 12 artists showcasing their art. So that will be on the 20th of October. Then on the 20th, so that's where the big African cultural presentation night will happen. So that's on the 20th. So for that, also we have registration, but it's majorly invitation. And we'll have some limited tickets to be sold. Because we want it to be also accessible for
the outside world. Outside of the AU.
Yeah. So on the 20th, that would be the evening, which will be the best.
Gala.
Yes. Plus the 21st, on the 21st, we have the final gala fashion event, which will be, as I said, 40 countries showcasing their...
Oh, the 21st is that?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's the 3-day events. So the 20th is the cultural presentation. The 21st is the gala fashion event.
Where do the music
So play music on the
in the midst of that?
So on the 20th, the African cultural presentation night is going to be music, dance, culture and cuisine. So there will be sections of each region with their food.
Okay.
Plus the music will be on, there will be performers from all over the continent, there will be the dancers. So it's going to be a very amazing night.
Yeah. Packed night, packed 3 days. That's very exciting. So before I close, I would like to ask, do you know Hub of Africa?
Of course.
Okay, do you know that the same week is what's happening? Africa Celebrates and Hub of the Week is the same week.
I know, yeah. We were talking with
You talked
Mahi.
to
Yeah,
Mahi,
we
okay.
talked with Mahi. I mean, it was a coincidence.
I know, it's a coincidence. But I think for next year, you guys need to have that conversation. You see, I'm an event organizer also.
I know, yeah.
And one thing that we lack in this country is communication between event organizers. So instead of me and you communicating and doing it together, which it would make it so much bigger and more interesting, because you have your own client, I have my own client. So bringing it together, you know, we don't think of it that way.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm like, I try to hide what it is that I'm doing on the same day you're doing your thing.
Yeah, I mean, the issue from our side was there were different meetings the Africa Union was hosting in different countries.
Okay.
So this was a time given for us from the African Union, because all the ambassadors, all the diplomats wouldn't be accessible before October this week. So that was the issue we had. But I mean, we had a discussion with Mahi. So we will, I mean, in the coming years, of course, we will plan. We'll plan and even
because you're doing the same thing.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what we will do next time is, I mean, I'm even thinking it now, and we can even do it like 2 weeks, so that our guests can go to Hub of Africa, and Hub of Africa guests can come to Africa Celebrates as well. So I mean, we'll plan it that way.
Please do, because the day you guys get together, you're going to teach our country what it means to join as opposed to be a part. You know,
That's true.
The more we are, the merrier.
That's true.
Right?
I agree with you.
Yes. I'm so glad that you took the time out today.
Thank you very much.
Come sit here and talk to us about this amazing event that's coming up. If there's anything you want to add, please.
I mean, first and foremost, I want to thank you, because this, I mean, what you're doing for Africa, to promote Africa, African music, African culture, is amazing. And I'm seeing your house, and it looks like a mini Africa Celebrates. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for giving us this chance as well. It's a pleasure. Plus, we also, I really want to thank also our partners, Africa Union, UNESCO. Plus, this year our hotel partner is going to be Best Western Addis. Thank you. And Skylight also, they're helping us a lot. So thank you for those hotels. Plus, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Culture and Sport, Ethiopian Investment Commission. They're taking their stake on this event, and they're trying to make every aspect possible for us and for all our delegations. This is all possible because of all these partners. And Legendary Gold and Pristine Marketing Group wants to thank your show for giving us this wonderful opportunity to explain Africa Celebrates. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Till next time, thank you for watching Afreeqa on Arts TV. This is your host, Gazarork Seifu. Have a good afternoon.